Okay, hey everyone. I hope you guys are having an awesome day or night, depending what time you guys see this. My goal for this video is to not talk so much because I just took a 10-minute long video and I need to. So, my experience at the art museum. I went with my friend, my very, very dear friend Olivia. We went to the Downtown Phoenix Art Museum. I know there are a few others, like I believe there's the one in Mesa, and then I believe ASU has one as well. But this one not only was free technically because I did actually donate, but it's very close to where I live, and also I was getting out of work when I went, and it's very close to my work as well. So a little bit convenient, but I have also been seeing some ads about new installations that they've had recently, and I wanted to check them out. So it was a perfect little outing. Like, it was an outing with a purpose, right? All right, so I did get there a little bit late because I was getting off of work, but I felt like I didn't have as much time as I would like to have had to actually read everything I was taking in, get more context about it. But I still very much enjoyed the time that I spent there. I feel like the Phoenix Art Museum has their bones, like they have their core installations that stay there, like most museums, and those are being like the cultural ones. And then, yikes, I don't want to butcher her name, so I won't say it, but the Firefly Lights rooms, yes, that's been there for a while as well. So I felt as though those things I didn't so much have to take my time with as much as I did the new installations that I hadn't seen before. And yeah, although I will say I feel like I believe the last time I was there previous to this most recent time was like at least 3 months. So I think that there was some new things. I might just be crazy or have a bad memory though. But as for the newer installations, there were a few pieces that I really enjoyed. I believe all art definitely does have a meaning, but there are some that have more of a like face value than something running deeper into their core, right? And sometimes, art is subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder. Personally, I like more modern leaning, like pop art type stuff. Like, for example, Andy Warhol. I know he was in the presentation. It's a great example of that. There was some stuff of him, I believe, but let me not be delusional. So I just have different preferences, but there were some that weren't pop art and weren't crazy, like colorful and crazy looking, because that's just my taste, but I still thoroughly enjoyed because of what they meant. Specifically, there was this video. I know I took a photo of it and what it was called and its description so that I could put it into the presentation as well. Let's see. Miguel Angel Rios, it says, and it's called A Morir. So in English, that's Till Death, and it was in 2003. It's 4 minutes and 54 seconds long. And then in the description, it basically speaks of these spinning tops. It's a spinning tops game, and it also tied in a bit. It reminded me of our lesson on film, because this 5-minute short video had so much going on to it. It was very strategically made. It began on just a eye-to-eye perspective level, and then as it got more chaotic, more time went on, the buzz got louder, the sound got louder and busier. Then towards the end, it shifted into a bird's eye perspective, and so what I got from it actually aligned with what I read about it after I came out of watching it. So let's see. I will again have the description in there. I don't know how to edit, so I can't put it here for you guys to see it currently. But let's see. The artist uses the game as a metaphor for our times. And the quote that they inserted with this was, "In this film, I express the terrible moments in which we are living, where we can feel like life is worth nothing. This can also be about this is also about competition, power, violence, and chaos. The viewer can identify with the powerful or the weak one." And so I think it was very easily identified that it was about these power levels seen through the camera angles from where it was filmed, from, you know, being on their eye perspective as these tops are spinning, and you might be rooting for one or for the other, but you feel like you're one of them. You know, these are spinning tops that are inanimate objects, but by being on their level, you feel as though you might be one of them, or you're rooting for them, although them being inanimate objects, right? And then once you hit the like God's like all-knowing perspective, it is completely a completely different take. If the video had started that way, you know, it's a them versus us. There is no empathy to be given to these inanimate objects. And so I thought that it was a beautiful video, a 4-minute long and 54-second video that was so very beautifully created to make so many statements, and it could be applied to so many different topics. And a big point that I want to make in this video is art lives and breathes within everything around us. If you have the artistic eye, if you movement, right? Movement can just be movement, but movement can be dance, can be art, right? A brushstroke is art. You know, words strung together is art. There are so many different mediums that can be, you know, turned alive and made into art, given meaning, you know. So although these are just spinning tops, they represent so much about our society today. Art is living, breathing in everything, and can be applied into so many different real world, not even examples, but experiences that go on. You know, art is experiences and documentations, whether it be of the past, the present, the future. It is so versatile. And to ask the question of how it relates to humanities, I very, very honestly and strongly believe that art is such a huge core to humanities. Art is entailing the human experience. Art, I'm like so passionate about this. Yeah. I genuinely believe that to live is to create. To make meaning out of it, right? Okay, anyway, let me get off of my little tangent. Let's see what else I want to talk about, because I'd be spiraling. Okay, so moving forward, there was also some neon art. Like I said, I will be inserting the photos. I'm doing the video before the presentation. But there was some neon art that I really enjoyed viewing. I love neon art. Neon art is so beautiful to me. Okay, I can't like insert it here again because I can't edit, but I thought that was pretty cool. Neon art at first was just used for like advertising and sorts, like in a business setting, and then it began to get played with, and I think it is so insanely cool and beautiful. There's like a science behind it. I had a phase where I was like really deep into researching it all, and it's a medium that I one day hope to learn myself. Yeah, and I honestly just love I just love neon lights and neon art. They're all also one of one, which is awesome. Okay, and then let's see, there was also there was this photo that was just 1,000,001 different items pulled in together to make one form. And this actually reminded me of something that I have done previously. Oh, look at that, it didn't work. It's a little it's a little self-portrait. So a little bit about my self-portrait. I was gifted a bouquet of flowers, and more on that. I don't like to toss flowers until they take their very last breath, until they're like on the verge of like molding. Not really, but you know. And as time went on, I would watch as the petals fell from the top of my dresser to the floor, and I felt as though the petals gathering, accumulating on my floor looked just as beautiful as they did connected to the buds on the stems in the actual vase. And so I took some time to play with their forms. You know, I took so long. I took hours sorting them by texture, by color, by shape. And then I put together a really cartoonish looking version of myself. And to see such a massive accumulation of different items and toys be made into such a flawless figure of a realistic person is crazy. It is insane. I don't know, maybe I can convince you guys. Maybe try to do it with literally anything. With literally anything. It is so difficult, and it was so beautiful because I could relate to it personally, and it was beautiful. So yeah, that's more about my experience, but I said I wasn't gonna ramble, and here we are 12 minutes deep. So let me try to wrap this up. Honestly, it is so difficult for me to answer how does it relate to humanities again, because it's just, they're so interlinked to each other, to personally, in my perspective. So yeah, art is the documentation of human experiences. And God, there's endless, there's copious, endless, infinite amounts of human experience. Not one person to the next person will ever experience something the exact same way. And this causes for so many multitudes, so many different versions of what can seem to only be one reality turned into art, you know? So within that same vein, you know, art surrounds us. Art is made from everything. Art entails everything that humans experience, and it is so essential to humanity and humanities. Art, I couldn't. I don't know. I feel like I'm at a loss for words on such a grand topic for myself, but I don't know where I'd be without art. I don't know where a lot of us would be without art. And yeah, like I've said in this 14-minute long video, art is essential. And I hope maybe going to an art museum, whichever art museum of your choice you guys went to, inspired you guys to do one thing or the other, you know, because art truly is inspiring. Okay, finally, because I remembered while I was speaking and I forgot to say it, there was also, in their fashion exhibit, they have like the evolution of women's wear to present day. I don't remember from when it began, but it was like very Victorian looking dresses, and they were all similar in a sense that they were all black, but it became modernized slowly. And I believe that that's also a good example of how this relates to humanities, because it is discussing the evolution of not only what people wore, but specifically what women wore. And there's so much that goes into play with that. It's what's available, this type of skills, the tools, you know, so quite literally human evolution. and also societal norms, you know, different societal boundaries that change and develop or maybe even regress. So that, I feel like, is a very good example of why art is essential to humanities. Thank you guys. Have an awesome night. I'm so sorry I took 15 minutes. I love art, and like I said, I hope you guys got something out of this. Bye.